other items on a single device, all in a matter of seconds. For the first time, checks, currency, and related deposit documents can
Hello, we are live here at the Lagos Moms Annual Parenting Conference 2019 at Harbour Point, Victoria Island. It has been an exciting experience, fun and educative. I am Susan Matthew for Ben TV UK. Stay tuned.
Appraise your child on punctuality? Do you appraise your child on excellence? Do you appraise your child on a lot of behavioral competencies? Or are you waiting for the school to come and give you feedback on whether your child has the behavioral competencies that are required for the workplace? Now, in the workplace, after we've done your performance appraisal, we reward. We do not reward people who do not measure up to competencies. So if we have set certain parameters and weights for all of the competencies, we only reward people who make maybe an 80% and above. I believe that parents, that's what reward should be. You should be able to do performance appraisals, not in a structured or formal way, but in a way that you can give feedback to your children and say your attention to detail was 5/10. Next time we're making the bed, this is what you were supposed to do. Your teamwork with your sister was 2/10 because rather than shout at her, this is how you should have tried to work with her. Now, when your child begins to know that I'm being appraised and I will get a reward, that is the kind of reward that is motivated. Secondly, I like what he said now about parents leading by example. These work ethics that we complain about in the workplace, punctuality. If you are not punctual, your children will most likely think it's okay to get to work late. If you do not have integrity, don't worry, I'm going to be back by 5. You come back by 10, there is no integrity. So your kids grow up thinking, oh, even if I'm running late, I can just say I'm coming back. It's in the little things. So even for yourself as parents, how are you helping your children to pick up the right behavioral competencies that will be useful to them in the workplace?
Thank you so much. This panel is, can we put our hands together for them, please? It's such an interesting session. Well, because of average,
I forget the name of the guy, but the reason why that book is so compelling is his own story. By the age of 17, which is what he starts the book with, by the age of 17 he was a high school dropout. And he had 3 children. Yeah. And he would take all these jobs in factories, in the mall, in the supermarket, and he would do the job, and it was these mundane jobs where you're told, just do the work, take the aluminium block from here to here, don't think about how to improve the process. That's the manager's job. Managers are the ones who innovate and think about new things. You are just a doer, just do, that whole paradigm. And each time he would suggest things and would get pushed back, he knew he had more in him, he could do more. But the way schools worked didn't work for him. Fast forward years later, he decided he was going to go back to school. He would study for the SATs, but do it in his own way. He would start at the end because maybe he thought math was better for him than English. Even when he eventually went to university, in American universities, you have the core classes you have to take first, and then later on you can now start taking your electives. He said, no, if I take the core classes first, it will ruin my own confidence and my enjoyment of school. So let me start by taking the electives and all the cool things I want to take, and at the end, before I graduate, I will take the necessary things because by then I will have built my confidence. He adapted life to himself. His whole point is that the days of average are over. You cannot compare your child to everybody else. Some children never crawl before they walk. They go from their bum and just start walking one day. So when you say, oh, but you're not walking yet. Oh, my child is not speaking at this age. Oh, my child is not. The entire system is wired around this idea of the average. Oh, the average child does 20 questions in 1 hour. So the exam is always 1 hour for the 20 questions. No, my child doesn't do 20 questions in 1 hour. And it's now the age of customization. And the whole story started with the fact that in the First World War, planes kept crashing. And they were wondering what's going on. Is it that the pilots are not trained well? Or is it that there's something wrong with the planes? It turns out that the planes were built for the average pilot, average height, average length of thigh, average wrist length, average everything. And when they realized that nobody actually fits those average measurements, you are taking millions of people and taking the average measurement, but nobody actually fits the average measurement. That is when we now design what we have in every car today, which is you have a seat that can go forward. If you are 5'2", you can drive, and you are 6'1", you can drive. Everything is adjustable. The world is moving towards customization, but our education system has not. And so it's time for us as parents to start demanding that our children, even the same siblings as he said, are going to need different kinds of parenting. So that book is just very powerful for changing your paradigm about this idea of average. To hell with average. Everyone is unique. Some people buy a house before they marry. Some people will not have children before they do. There's no average path. And stop judging your children based on the average.
So the first one is, if you have a kind of irresponsible husband, how can you push your boy to make him more confident? Stephen, I think that question is for you. Could you repeat the title of the book, Mission? So the 3 books you mentioned. So you do that when you're giving your final address. It's the same thing, Mission, the books by you. What can be done as a damage control if there are errors already? I'm not sure what specific area. We'll see. What can be done if there are errors already? What can be done as damage control if there are errors already? And what can be done to complement the school curriculum? At what age should I allow my child to make decisions? For example, a child tells me he wants to go to a particular school because he heard that they have a clean hostel and toilets. Will I just agree because of this? When you say a child is on social media, what exactly does that mean? If I think that's for you. What platforms are these children on and from what age? I think those are all the questions we have for now. So I'll start with Stephen first.
Really here. I don't know who you are. I'm not eating at you. I'm not trying to be funny. But obviously there is a problem in your marriage here. And we all think that we can leave problems in our marriage and focus on parenting. It doesn't work. The greatest thing you can do for this boy is to try and fix your marriage. I don't know your context, I don't know your story, but this language shows me that there's no love lost between you and your husband. And if at all it is possible, you want to fix that. I tell people all the time, I don't think anybody, the first time a child comes to the world, they hand the boy or the girl over to you, you look at the child and you look at it and say, I'm just going to be responsible to you. I'm going to mess your life up. I'm going to abuse you. I don't think any parent, the same way I don't think anybody walks to the altar with a man or a woman to marry him or her, saying all the while, I'm going to make your life miserable. I believe that we all have good intentions for our marriages, we have good intentions for our children. But things go wrong, and it's important that you try and seek counseling take responsibility for your part in what is going on in your marriage, and try and make your marriage better, because that would be the greatest gift you can give to your children. Children need to know, this is the greatest source of truth. They need to know that they are part of something bigger than themselves. They need to know that they are part of something bigger than themselves. If they don't see a good relationship between their parents, it affects their confidence more than anything else. Having said that, like I said, I don't know your story. Maybe this man is not even in your life at all, or it's totally checked out. You need to find somebody in your family, somebody around you who is a man that your boy can relate with. Can be a sports coach, can be a Sunday school teacher, can be one of their teachers at school, but has to be a man who sees him. Because every boy, and this is the source of men's confidence, every boy around the age of 11, 12, 13 begins to ask the question. The question is, am I a man? We ask it in different ways. If you have boys around that age, start paying attention to them. They're looking at the mirror, they're seeing their whiskers on their cheeks, and they're kind of pulling it out, putting some Vaseline. He's asking the question, am I a man? They're gathering in the restroom, looking at their penises and finding out who has the longest one. The guy that has the longest one comes out with his chest high. They are asking the question, am I a man? Every boy asks that question. What you find is that people get into their 40s with that question not answered. So you find a 40-year-old man still looking for an answer to his question. And when men don't have access to that question, they go to two things. They go to work, trying to become as rich as they can, or they go to women, trying to wed as many women as they can. And all of this is happening unconsciously. And so your boy is asking the question, am I a man? If he gets the answer, yes, you are a man, it grows masculine confidence. And how do you answer that question? It needs to have experiences where strength is called for and where he shows up with that strength, and the man is there putting his hand on his shoulder saying, yes, you are a man. Yes, you're my boy. I tell them that, you find if you have a 15-year-old boy, a 17-year-old young man, and you still call him baby, you call him sugar, you call him all of those soft things. And something inside of him, and there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. But he needs another name. He needs a name that his father gives him. So you need to move them and nudge them towards hanging out with men that you want them to be like. Okay. And their strengths are going to be called for in relationship with that man. That man kind of put their hands on him and practice it. And that's how you strengthen a man's confidence.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so social media, simply digital platforms for social interaction. That's just really what it is. So you have like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Now she said, what platforms are these children on? They are on all except maybe LinkedIn. It depends on the age of the child. And from what age? I think it will literally be from the age you let your children have access to the digital world. Research will say that kids are already on these platforms from age 7, from age 8, but there are parents who have already bought smartphones for their kids from age 5, they have iPads, they have access to the internet, so they're able to be on any platform really.
You're always on YouTube, watch cartoon and keep quiet. Yeah. How to damage control if there are errors. With the organization that I run, we work with ages 17 to 35-year-olds to correct the damage that has been done by the education system. So it's never too late. We train them in all these skills that we've been talking about all day, and we do it in a matter of 150 hours, 3.5 weeks. It's full time, and then we help them find work, because it is in that work that they will learn to be good followers, and only good followers can be good leaders. So I kind of disagree. Like, kids should learn to take a job first. Everybody should learn to work in a job that you absolutely hate and get resilience from that, so that when you are in a position to make other people's lives miserable or great, you will know what it's like and the importance of that. So that is important. So damage control, it's never too late. You need to show your children it's never too late to change. Like what Stephen was just saying. If you need to go and start working, talking to your husband, begging him to go to counseling, figuring out how you get him to start having those conversations, it's never too late. You continue growing till you die. What can be done to complement the school curriculum? We need a national curriculum review. There are a few of us who met together at World Teachers Day last week, Saturday, and and we're so fed up. We need it. The curriculum for this country has not been reviewed since after the Civil War, when they all sat in a room and said, okay, we must make sure Biafra never happens again. So we're going to create NYSC. We're going to put this in the curriculum for people to know about other. We need a curriculum review for how is Nigeria going to exist in the next 30 years and be competitive. Otherwise, everybody's on their way to Canada. And the only people left will be the crazy people or the dumb people. And we cannot afford for that to happen. So we do need a national curriculum.
There's the question of where do I take my child to? And we all know that we all do this thing of, my friend's child goes to so school. So they have to also go to that school. And there's this, and like somebody said, reputation. This school has been in existence for 30 years. Even though you're not seeing results, but you just want to go there. So I would just like to say, when it comes to choosing the school for your child, like we're saying, creativity is the currency of the future. Take your child to where, like somebody said, you can see results. And while we mentioned, the panelists before we came, they mentioned something about curriculum. We know that our curriculum is way, way, way outdated. But I would also say that it's also, if we infuse technology, if we infuse, all these things we are talking about, yes, the curriculum might still be saying on the scheme of work, addition. But then it's what are we doing with addition? How are we applying addition? There's something called, there are 6 domains of learning by Bloom. We have Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy has 6 areas, it covers 6 skills that a student, for a child to be really grounded, you can say this child, has learned or, is very creative. There are 6 domains. You have the remember, and the second one is understanding. Then the rest of them, the rest of the four, we don't even go there at all. Most schools focus on the remember and understanding. Even in our questions, when we do exams, we just ask those questions that get the children to just blurt out what they've been taught. So there's remember, there's understanding, there's application. What have you done with what you've learned? Then there's analysis. Are they able to talk about, sit down, analyze, break down things, this is this because of this? And then when you talk about that, then collaboration comes in. Turn-taking, teamwork, collaboration, all that will come into play. Are they able to evaluate, justify their answer? Like somebody said in the last panel, you ask a child a question and they said, why do you think, why do you think this thing is there? Oh, it's just there because of this. Like, can they justify their answer? Oh, I say it's better to wear rubber swimsuit than cotton swimsuit because, and they can tell you, they can justify their answers. And the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy is create, design. And that's where we are going to. Let them be able to use the additions and the whatever, the photosynthesis, what is plant that we have in the curriculum that we know is outdated. But then what are they producing? What are they creating? What are they designing? And I think a school that offers that opportunity, that platform, is where you should take your child to. Whether it's close to you, or whether it's just 2 years, or 7 years, or 10 years, I think you should really take your child to start thinking about the future of your child. Where, like somebody said, what is my child coming out with? And that really should be the focus. So now, getting back into one thing that is very important, online safety. Because when it comes to technology, internet, there's so much cyberbullying out there. Some children have taken their lives because they were suffering from cyberbullying. So how do we combat this? What do we do about online safety, being safe online?
I think first of all, we talked about it earlier, but first of all is educate ourselves. So educate ourselves as parents, know the tools that are available to us to use, to help guide and navigate with our kids. And also being able to teach the children that as you're in the real world and there are rules to be followed, in the online world as well, there are rules to be followed. So it's the same way you have family mantra or something like that. Like like you say, in my house, we don't do this, we don't lie, we say please, we use our magic words. The same way in the online world, there are rules to be followed. And I think the mistake we make as mothers or even as people in general is the fact that we think that online world is one mystical, is a way, nobody knows, because we are behind a device, right? We feel like, things are shielded in one way or the other. But as I said before, the most important thing is that we educate ourselves, we educate our children as well. We know the tools that are available to us, and we actually use them in helping our children to actually be successful in that world.
Thank you. The first thing for me is truly the children might be exposed to these issues of a lack of safety online. But as parents, we also need to ensure we're reinforcing certain values, reinforcement. For mothers, we must tell our daughters how beautiful they are. Let that validation come from them before anybody else. I think then our own parents were a bit too, how would I say it, traditional. So there were some things they probably never told us. We feel that it's probably mushy and all of that. But we must say it to our children today. These children are different, and we need to ensure that that validation is coming from the home and not from anywhere else. Secondly, like they've said, we must also be knowledgeable about these things. How do they present themselves? What is the mask that I must look out for? What are those things that I must know that say, truly, this thing is insecure, someone has hacked into the system, there's probably a pedophile lurking at the background, because when we talk about the Internet of Things, that's the connectivity of so many devices today online. I hear there are about 24 billion devices connected online. So truly your AC in the house just has a sensor that says it should be cold or cool. Everything is connected. So truly that issue of security does exist, but we also need to know how. We need to know where or what is infiltrating these systems and how to guide against them.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Is this the first time speaking at this conference?
Actually, yes, it's the first time.
So, what has been your experience so far?
Well, let me tell you something you don't know about me. I always like talking. I always like presenting. One of the things I do as an educator is to share my experience, the things that my wealth of knowledge, the things I have learned. So I've always loved interacting and talking with other people. So it was really a good one for me. I really enjoyed every bit of it, and I liked the fact that it gave me the platform to meet other people as well. So it was very good.
So what do you think about Lagos Moms as a platform?
I think it's a brilliant idea because we have what is very common is you have trainings. People go to trainings, they go to seminars. Those seminars and trainings last for maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, and then that's it, and they go home. Most of those trainings and seminars, you go and you leave, and you still have a lot of questions. So this kind of platform that Lagos Mom has created, it really affords educators, parents, the opportunity to actually and talk about the issues they have. It's very interactive, and it's real, like somebody just said. You get to talk about these things the way they are, no sugarcoating, and you just get it firsthand. So it's a brilliant idea, and I really commend Mrs. Williams for creating Lagos Moms platform.
So I noticed when it comes to parenting, both parents are responsible for raising the kids. But in recent times, you can see like mostly single mothers, and the father is somewhere, hidden somewhere. Okay, even look at a conference like this. I can look around, I can just see few men. So I don't know. What are we trying to, what is that trying to speak of our men today?
Funny enough, it's something I've been looking into, like it's something I've been trying to look at. I think it boils down to education. We live in the society where there's that pressure on the girl. You have to be this, you have to be this, you have to grow up to be a good wife, you have to grow up to be this, you have to be independent, you have to be this. But little attention is given to the men as well. I think we've neglected, not everybody though, but I think we've had this neglect of also training the boy child. So there's that disparity somewhere. The girls are all independent. They have offices now. And the men are just there. So
Hello ma'am, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Can we meet you ma'am?
My name is Toyin Oji. I'm comparing the Lagos Moms event today.
So what has been the experience so far? Is this your first time comparing this conference, or you've done the previous ones?
This is my second year comparing. I compared for them last year. I've been part of the conference for a while. And yeah, so far it's been amazing. It always is amazing. It's an excellent platform where there's so much to gain, so much to learn, so much value to be received. So yes, it's going great.
So this conference is about parenting. How has parenting evolved over the years?
Yes, so the conference always has a different theme every year. It's really a family-based platform, so it's for families, parenting, just tips and guides to help you become a better parent, a better individual. This year our theme is creativity, the currency of the future. And what that simply means is, in a few years, there's so many professions that will become extinct. So we're trying to sensitize people now to begin to know how to empower your children, empower yourselves with what you would need to be relevant as the years go on. So it's been very enlightening. It always is. We've had amazing speakers from our first 2 sessions. We still have 2 more sessions to go. And yes, you get practical tips, not just the theory of, do this and do that, but how and why, so it's really been amazing. We thank God.
So in your opinion, would you say media and technology has affected parenting either positively or negatively?
Oh, definitely. In everything in life, there's always a positive and a negative side of it. A lot of times there's always the perception that, technology is bad, it's negative, but there are lots of benefits from it. For one, it's the only platform where you can actually reach the entire world out of your own comfort zone, but definitely has to be done in moderation, the timing, that's real specifically for social media and all of that. But the media is a very positive platform. It can be used for you, it can be used against you, but I believe that so far with Lagos Moms, this platform, media-wise, it's been amazing. It's worked out positively.
First time attending this conference or exhibition rather.
We do attend other exhibitions.
This particular one?
Though we used to be with Lagos Mom too. Yes, we've been with them before. There was one this thing they did too at Oriental Hotel. Yes, we were there too. Yes.
Hello. Hi. I can see pears everywhere. Can you tell us about your brand?
Okay, so it's for babies. We have different lotions for babies, and it makes their skin soft and removes rashes from their body. So it's very nice.
Wake up this morning, you're the family, oh, do it. And I saw the brother, what's in the finger? I said, a brother, to the rest of my mama. Timbano, what you got to do, I feel like you like cigar. No, we say, what you mean, you're supposed to go sit down. Don't leave me sad,
But what struck me about her was the fact that she's not even millennial. What's after millennial? Is it Gen Z? But you know, she was a real life person that I was talking to who understood what children, young adults today are going through when we talk about social media, the effects of them and all of that. So this was going to allow us to dive deep, because some of us here might not have children this old, right? Can we, if you have children 19 and below, can I see a lot of us in this room? So what means is that we're not talking to the people who are truly living a life that has been fed by what I call Instagram education. And I learned that term from Tracy. So you all need to find yourself a young friend. If you don't have a young friend, find one. So Tracy, you are laughing already. So I want you to first break down what an Instagram education means. Unless we all know what it is. So what does it mean? Because you are the one that taught me that there's a school called that, and it's affecting our children in ways that parents are not aware of. And as all the things we've been saying today, we can agree that if parents don't know what they don't know, we don't know what we need to help our kids on, there's no way we can help them. So over to you, please educate us on what it is.
Thank you very much. So before we are able to go into what Instagram education means, we first of all need to establish what education is on its own. And for me, and in general, education is the acquisition of values, of beliefs, of information for use and translation into real life situations. So when you're educated in varying forms, could be from your family, through communications, through storytelling, it's a way of acquiring information that's supposed to help you deal with real life situations, and that's what you base most of your values on. Now, having said that, Instagram education, on the other hand, is collecting all of these based on the facade presented on Instagram. So for example, your reality is altered by what you see on the gram. All of your beliefs are all Harvard referenced from Instagram. Everything that you see, you talk about, you don't delve deep enough into it, you see that from Instagram. So you can be in a conversation with somebody and they use key points, like key buzzwords that you see on the gram, not just on Instagram actually, on Twitter, different social networks. So it's just the idea that people are not really founding their beliefs and basis on things that are factual anymore, but they're just doing these based on things that are available online and on the internet.
To end. Because you see what she just said. They will dress up, they will take pictures, they will take off the clothes after and drop it. And that's what we call also what FOMO is. People see that online and they feel that they are missing out. Everybody else seems to be enjoying this life. We've heard it here live. This is a short chat just to get us to see that this is what a lot of our children today are having to deal with. Adults can't even manage it properly. And if you picked up a couple of things which I picked up, she is multi-talented, right? But she had labels that were starting to put her into boxes. What else did we pick up? I picked up that her parents allowed her room to be free,
right? And is that not what's helping today? The fact that she's been able to make her mistakes. She used sense for her mother, went home and was saying, some people are on this platform while she was. But that still means that what? At the back of her mind, she knew what was right. So there's a lot of things mixed into this conversation, but what's critical is we must allow our children to thrive. We must let them explore, but with sense, and also not to label our kids.
The environment, trying to study the environment. And if you think nothing is happening to the child at that tender age, when the child is going to speak for the first time, the child speaks the dominant language of the environment in which the child is growing up. Nobody teaches the child. Nobody sees the child down in the nursery school to say, this is mom, this is dad. Now, have you ever introduced yourself to your children? Say, I'm your mom, I'm your dad. The child just gets to know that this is dad, this is mom, this is brother, this is sister. Now, who taught the child? Nobody taught the child, which means at that stage when you think the child is not recognizing anything, at that stage when you think the child is not aware of the environment, the child is aware in a form. So the number one thing is, curiosity is something that we need to preserve in children. Now, you know what? Because God knows that no man can give another one that curiosity God gave to every man. We were born curious. But through this thing we call discipline, some slapping here, some pushing around here, some shouting here and there, before you know it, the child withdraws. When the child withdraws into himself or herself, the child leaves that state where the child is able to ask questions, where the child is able to probe, where the child is able to insist. And when the child leaves that place, he now begins to see the shadow of the child. So when the child shows up in the workplace, now the workplace is now organizing training, bringing people to teach the child how to be creative. Meanwhile, this was something that God gave every human being at birth, free of charge. Now, what has happened is that we as adults, we take away from children a great gift that God gave children, which we do not have capacity to give them. I think that is stealing from them. That is stealing from them, because if you understand perfectly that every child is born curious. Every child, there's no child that will not ask you a question. Sit down there, why? Let's go and sleep, why? And why is not a rebellious question. The child is seeking to know. People tell me when they bring children to this kind of place, they're running after the children. Sit down, don't run around, and they do all of those things. And I ask them, if you bring your child here, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and the child sits down like an adult, crosses her leg, and study the situation, won't you be afraid? You will be afraid. You will ask, excuse me, are you okay? So the child is playing around, observing and dominating his or her environment. You are shouting, come here, sit down there, don't go there, and all of those things. And all of those things limit children. It limits their creativity, it limits their thought, it limits their... Are you getting it? So there are many things that we do. So at the end of the day, the child becomes a shadow of himself or herself, and before you know it, you are now looking at and you are saying you want that child to be creative. It's not going to happen. So for me, the things that affect being creative in the 21st century is our mindset as parents. The challenge is the world in which I grew up, the world does not exist again. The world in which I grew up, the world has disappeared. You know, because the only thing that is left in the world in which I grew up is our mindset. We have analog minds as today's parents, trying to instruct smart minds. These children are born into digital age. If you call the 21st century the information age, is that also? You call it the internet age. And the 21st century started January 1, 2000, which means anybody who is a child today, and the child is anybody below 18 years old, which means anybody who is a child today was born into the internet, was born into digital age. So you were born into analog. Now, when you were growing up, For you to take passport photograph, it took you 4 weeks to take passport photograph because we go to little by little photos.
So because of that, I would really like to know from your perspectives and your experiences as what people would term creatives, what do you think creativity can mean and in various settings as well? If you can also introduce yourself and what you do in more depth.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for inviting me. My name is Elijah, it's really just right hand. And I'm a musician and also a teacher. I teach kids, and I teach adults, and I've been doing this for about 26 years right now. Yeah, I don't look it. Yeah, I started as a child, 12 years old, grew up with my parents. My dad is someone who loves music. He doesn't play music, but doesn't know how to play any instrument, but he loves good music. I grew up early in the morning. The first thing you are going to hear in my house is music, Sunday. I mean, you know that my father is awake. You know, he doesn't have much, he doesn't have money, but he has a very good sound system. I mean, the neighborhood, you know that my father is awake when he's awake. But at the point, the way I know that today is Monday as a child, or Sunday, is from my father's playlist. You know, when he starts music, you know today is Sunday, because we could tell from the music he played. He loves variety of music. I didn't know that those things were really coming into me. Then I go every Saturday with my mom to choir practice. She sings a lot. She's a fantastic singer. She still sings. She's growing old. She's almost 80 right now. So that's it. I see her singing in choir practice. I'll go with her. I'm sitting down somewhere watching all of them singing and see how they arrange music. Very interesting.
Let's pick two subjects, light and strong. So when you think of the word strong, what do you think of? Power, superhero, hold your hand. In power, you have what? You have a punch. You're punching, okay? You're shaking, strong, isn't it? You are stomping with your feet, okay? You can shout strongly, isn't it? Come on, let me hear you shout. Come on. Excellent. So this is what happens. You start imagining power words. Your children are listening to you. What is it to be strong? What is it to be awake? What is it to reach out to the top? I have to be strong. Then you have light, like falling leaves. Can we move our hands like falling leaves? Can we move our body like falling leaves? Can we swirl like falling leaves? Can we imagine and close our eyes and we are like the clouds?
Hello. Hi. Thank you for joining us here this evening. We've just been talking about creativity from different perspectives. Throughout the program, we've highlighted the fact that creativity could go through other industries, but then we've come to the point where there are actual people that are considered to be in the normal creative space in that sense. And you're different from the norm in the sense you're an energy boy, you're a dancer, and you've been involved in these different aspects of creativity. Now for you, what would you say? What is it like being different from the norm, putting that energy out there? Are there any obstacles to creativity for you, and how do you think parents can help solve these things?
Let me take the question because it's kind of like very layered questions. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, mommies. I'm very happy to be here. Apologies for being late. So many events today, so I just want to make sure I made it. For me, creativity is divine. For me, it's really divine. It's not something you should box or hold back. It's something you should explore and let grow. So when we talk about obstacles of creativity, I think it is born out more of ignorance, out of ignorance than anything else, because we are created by the Creator, and we are, we are an image of God Himself, who is a creative. You understand? So God creates, and we are in His image. It's just normal for us to be creative. We're always going to come up with things. We are born of it. An endless, infinite scenario of man's life. But because of ignorance, especially from a parental point of view, and the societal principalities and powers that govern some of the creative world, it gives you that fear of insecurity to say, do I want my child to be a musician? Do I want my daughter to be a dancer? Do I want my daughter to be an artist? These are the principles that govern those systems that I am not comfortable with. And because of that, we create obstacles over creativity. Naturally, creativity should not be blocked.
I'm standing here with the creator and convener of the Lagos Moms Conference, Mrs. Yeti Williams. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. Yourself?
Yes, so for the average viewer out there, or there are some people who haven't even come across or heard anything of what is called Lagos Moms. Can you tell them what Lagos Moms is about and what inspired the idea to create this platform?
So Lagos Moms is a community for mothers, parents and caregivers raising children in the modern world. There's a lot that goes with raising children. It's not easy, it's never been easy, but it's much tougher in today's world and climate. So what it is about really, it gives us this opportunity to meet, to talk, to engage ourselves on trends when it comes to parenting and raising children for the future. We are largely online, but once a year we have this annual conference that brings us all together to do what we're doing today, make new friends, discuss new topics. Yes.
So how can the Lagos platforms benefit parents in this 21st century?
Yeah. The way the platform benefits is, first of all, it's good to know that you're not alone. We all have struggles when it comes to raising children. We have questions, we have challenges. We don't always know where to go. We don't always know what to do. So having a platform such as this allows us to reach out to each other, allows us to know that there is a community ready to help you, and allows us to know that parenting is such an ongoing learning process that we don't have all the answers. Nobody does. So that's how Lagos Moms helps. We help parents relax a little bit and know that it's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to have to Google something sometimes. So that's really one of the things that we hope to do. And we're glad that the community continues to grow and is doing it. So technology for me is a great enabler. For me, that's what I've used to build my business. If not for digital media, Lagos Moms wouldn't have the huge, community that it has because it's mostly online. But at the same time, we have to keep in mind that anything good can also have negative side to it.
Yes. So what informed this year's theme?
So this year's theme is creativity, the currency of the future. When you say that, you're like, okay, what does that mean? Are we talking about arts and craft? Are we talking about, fashion or drawing? No, creativity is everything. And I'll share a quick personal story. Growing up, I always believed that I wasn't creative. So I never thought of myself as a creative person. My creativity came out with Lagos Moms. It came out with the fact that, wow, you can create something out of nothing. And so I'm consciously and regularly working on my creative side. This outfit, for example, is by a mom who started sewing a few years ago.
Which is very lovely, by the way.
Thank you very much. So it's a mom who followed her passion. She had left banking and she said, you know what, I like to sew. So she came into this space. We saw a picture and we both modified it to be this. That's an example of two otherwise non-creative women saying, you know what, let's create something different. So creativity is something we're all born with. We actually learn being uncreative. Let me say that again. We're all born creative. Most of us learn to become uncreative because of rules, because of school, because of tradition, because of labels. Whatever the reason is, it sucks children's creativity out. So this theme today is to let parents know that the future is not in the future. It's here. It's now. You know? So how do we ensure that our kids are being raised with what is not replaceable by technology and not replaceable by computers or artificial intelligence? Is your creativity.
Also, you've held 5 previous conferences and they have been successful so far. But I would like to ask, what has been the challenges you have encountered so far and what has been the motivating factor to keep going? Yes.
I can be very determined. So when I start something, this is probably one of the first things I've started that I've stuck with the longest. And I think it's because I'm so passionate about raising children for the future to be the best they can be. Challenges, of course, funding is an issue sometimes. You know, many times this is a social enterprise. So that, but at the same time, you look around the hall today and our success comes from our sponsors, comes from the brands that believe in us, believe in what we're doing, and they see the consistency. You know, we talk about this microwave generation. They want everything now, quickly. There's a place for just being consistent. When people see that 1 year in, it's not easy that we're doing our 6th one now. We've continued to do it despite all the challenges. We're like, you know what, we're here for the long haul. We're here for the long haul. And I cannot thank sponsors, ambassadors, my tribe, my Lagos Moms tribe. If they didn't exist, we wouldn't be here. You know, so I think for people, my buzzword is collaboration. The more we collaborate, the more we can do better because we add our strength. Initiative. And I would just say watch the space to see some of the things we'll be coming up with. But definitely in 5 years' time, I want us to still be impacting children. I want us to be impacting families. I want parents to be feeling empowered because they have the knowledge they need. And lastly, women. There's so much on our plate. We're juggling so many hats. If you're not married, hurry up and get married. You get married, what about the children? You have a girl, when is the boy coming? You have a boy, what about another girl? So there's always something. What I would like us to have more of is women who feel that they can be anything that they want to be. There's nothing limiting us. Our limits are in our mind. So we have to fix the way we think. When we're our best, we can give our children our best. So that's where I see Lagos Moms continuing to go. I love to help women. I love to tell them there's nothing you can't balance, but you need to know what you're trying to balance so that you can know if you are balancing it or not.
That's been nice talking to you and to finally meet the convener and creator of this lovely, great platform. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much, Ma.